You're not in New York anymore. The room is quieter, but heavier. 3 screens in front of you. 1 deal on the table. $12.8 billion. 2 companies, 3 countries, and 1 problem no one wants to say out loud. The numbers don't hold. Everyone sees it. No one stops it. And now, they're looking at you. Not because you're the most experienced, because you're the only one who hasn't spoken yet. This isn't about being right. It's about what happens if you are. Level 1. Entry into the global system. You stop operating solely within Wall Street. What once seemed like the center of the world is now just a connecting point. The screens change. Schedules cease to make sense. Your day no longer begins, it continues. New York opens, while London has already decided. And when you realize it, Asia has already reacted. Now you enter a larger system. Meetings with different time zones, calls that begin in silence and end with irreversible decisions. Executives who don't explain, they only insinuate. They don't speak directly, they suggest. For the test, they observe those who understand without needing to ask. You start to realize, here, nobody says exactly what they mean, and anyone who needs confirmation is already late. Decisions transcend countries, currencies, regulations, but they reach you as if they were just a line in a model. You're no longer just an operator. You are an intermediary, a point of passage between what is seen and what needs to be approved. Your responsibility now is simple. In theory, translating risk into decision. But in practice, you don't translate what is true. You translate what can be accepted. You learn quickly. Not every number needs to be corrected. Some exist to be ignored, others to be repositioned, and some just to justify something that has already been decided. You gain access. Private calls that don't appear in your contacts, data arriving without a clear origin, spreadsheets that won't be shared, but need to be considered, conversations that will never be recorded. And it is in these conversations that the real decisions are made. You start hearing things you shouldn't, but more importantly, you begin to understand things that you can't repeat. But you're missing something important: clarity. Because the bigger the business, the less direct the truth, the better. Numbers are no longer the answer, and they become a tool. The risk here is not making a mistake. Errors are being corrected. The risk is understanding too much. Because when you understand, you realize what is being ignored. And when you realize, you're putting yourself in a dangerous position. You start to see what shouldn't be seen, and nobody is going to tell you that directly. But you can feel it. During breaks, in their eyes, what remains unanswered. To go up, you need to talk less. Not because he doesn't know, but because he knows enough. And to understand more, not just what is said, but that's what's being avoided. Because at that level, the game is not about information, it's about interpretation. And those who interpret things too early, it ceases to be useful far too quickly. Level 2, the invisible game. Now you're in the middle of the negotiations. Not watching, participating. You no longer enter the room as an observer. You enter as part of the mechanism. The table doesn't discuss numbers. She discusses narratives. The data is there, complete, organized, accurate. But nobody starts with them. Someone always starts with a story. This company has potential. The market will react positively. The timing is perfect. And from that point on, the numbers are shaped. You realize it quickly. The value of the company is not fixed. It moves, depending on who speaks first. And more importantly, it depends on who it is, and nobody wants to contradict them. The risk also changes. Not because it disappears, but because it's being repositioned. A risk becomes an opportunity. A flaw becomes a temporary adjustment. A structural problem becomes a technical detail, and everything continues to move forward. You start to realize the agreement was decided before the meeting even started. The meeting doesn't decide anything. She validates it. Its function is not to decide, it's about sustaining, to uphold the logic, maintain the pace, to support something that is already in motion. You learn. Timing is more important than accuracy, because the right number at the wrong time, it's a hindrance. But an acceptable number at the right time, it moves billions. Trust is worth more than truth, because nobody is looking for what is exact. They are looking for what is keeping the agreement alive. You start talking less, but when he speaks, everyone is listening. You gain influence. Your name starts circulating among people you've never met before. You join calls where no one introduces themselves. Executives are starting to ask for your opinion. Not because you know more, but why? Don't you break the flow? And that has value. But you're missing out on something bigger. Autonomy. Because the higher you climb, the less you choose, the more you get to defend. You no longer get to choose which side you're on. You get the side, and its function then becomes to justify. You realize this when you start to disagree, internally. But he continues talking, externally. The risk now is different. It's not about getting the number wrong. It means being associated with the wrong decision, even if it wasn't yours, even if you've seen it before, even if you've thought about stopping, because at that level, perception doesn't protect you. Positioning, yes. You begin to understand the weight of silence. Not everything you see needs to be said. Not everything that is said should be questioned. And not every doubt needs to be voiced aloud. To go up, you need to take a stand, not on the right side, but on the side that is advancing, even when you know you're wrong, even when you feel the deviation, even when you realize that the structure is being strained. Because in this system, it's not the most accurate one that goes up, it's the most aligned. And alignment, it's not about truth, it's about continuity. And now, you're already a part of it. Level 3, strategic decision. Now you don't run it, you set the direction. The room changes when you enter, not because of what you say, but based on what they expect you to say. Negotiations are stalled, not explicitly. No one raises their voice, no one admits to the stalemate, but you can feel it. The answers become shorter, the longest breaks, and the glances more calculated. One side wants to accelerate. They talk about opportunity in the transfer window, moving ahead of the competition. The other one starts to back away. More questions, more revisions, more adjustments needed. And in the middle, the numbers still don't add up. You look again. It's not a simple mistake. It's not rounding. It's not about timing. It's structural. But nobody uses that word. You see what others avoid, not because it's invisible, but because it's inconvenient. If the agreement goes ahead, someone else will pay the bill later, not today, not in this room, but at some point, it's inevitable. But if you block, the system crashes, meetings are cancelled, external pressure increases, and you cease to be part of the solution. Your responsibility is now clear, choosing the path that everyone will follow. And the EOCOE, silence in the room, confirms it. No one asks for your opinion directly, but everyone is waiting. You learn something that nobody teaches. Decisions are not made based on data. They are made based on impact, political impact, market impact, internal impact. The numbers are consulted, but what defines? This is what happens after the decision. You gain real power, not symbolic. Your word changes the rhythm of the negotiation. Your interpretation redefines priorities. Your analysis moves billions in minutes. You no longer answer questions. You end discussions. But this power comes at a cost. You lose protection. Before, you were part of a team. Now, you are the point of reference. And there's nowhere to hide from references. There is no such thing as team anymore. There is responsibility. And it is not shared. She is focused. The risk is direct. If it works out, you go up. His name circulates in silence. Doors open without invitation. Future decisions depend on you. But if it goes wrong, you become the problem. Context doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what was ignored. It doesn't matter who applied the pressure. The system does not review the process. He identifies the point of failure and correct it. You can see it in the eyes of others. There is no threat. There is no warning, only understanding. Everyone knows how this works. And now, you too. To go up, you need to decide. Not when it's ready, but only when necessary. No warranty. Because there is no safe scenario without consensus. Because consensus slows down the system. No turning back. Because some decisions, they cannot be undone. You breathe. Look at the numbers one last time. They haven't changed, but the room has already decided. And now, all that's left is for you to turn that into direction. Because at that level, not deciding, it's also a decision, and normally, the worst one. Level 4, system recognition. The deal is progressing, not because it was right, but because it needed to happen. You don't realize this in the numbers. But in terms of speed, what used to be stuck now flows. What once caused doubt is now ignored. And no one goes back on their decision. Your name appears, not publicly. But where does it matter? In internal lists, in conversations that don't include everyone, in decisions that are made before official meetings. You are not advertised, you are mentioned. And that changes everything. You are now called upon before decisions are made. Not for validation, but to anticipate. Consulted before the meetings, not to give an opinion, but to adjust what can still be adjusted, without interrupting the flow. You can no longer access the system. The system begins to revolve around you. Information reaches you before it becomes official. Movements are calibrated based on your reading. Risks are filtered before they are presented. You learn. Recognition does not come from accuracy. It comes from usefulness. It doesn't matter if you're right. It matters if you keep the system running. You gain status, not visible, but it's real. Direct access to decision makers. Silent influence over what will be decided. Invitations that aren't sent twice, because whoever receives them doesn't refuse. Your time ceases to be yours. Your schedule is no longer predictable, and their presence becomes something to be expected. But you lose something definitive. Exit. Because now you are no longer optional. You are no longer someone who can be replaced without immediate impact. You are part of the machine. And gears don't choose when to stop. They continue, as long as the system demands it. The risk ceases to be purely technical. It's no longer about miscalculation or analysis failure. It becomes structural. If the system crashes, you fall too. Not because it failed, but because I was there. Because he participated. Because he held up. And at that level, participation is enough. You start to notice the pattern. Those who rise too fast disappear silently. Those who get it right too often become annoying. Those who question too much don't continue. And those who remain learn to adapt. To go up, you need to keep going, even knowing where this ends, even noticing the signs before others, even understanding what is being ignored. Because now, it's no longer about arriving, it's about staying. Final climb, the top. The deal is closed, signatures completed, documents finalized, carefully controlled public CEO statements. The market reacts. Charts are going up, external analysts validate. The narrative is complete. Everything seems under control. You observe. No celebration without reacting. You look at the numbers one last time. They haven't closed yet. They never closed. But now, that doesn't matter anymore. Because the system has already moved on. And when the system continues, he doesn't proofread. You reach the top of your role. Participates in the final decisions. They have access to what few see and even fewer understand. Information arrives before it becomes reality. Movements are defined before they are perceived. And for the first time, it feels like you're in control of something. It seems like you're the one who decides. Which you direct. That you influence the outcome. But it's just a feeling. Because deep down, you know, you didn't choose the outcome. You only helped make it happen. You didn't create the movement. You simply made sure he didn't stop. And that's what the system truly values. Fall. The consequence. Weeks later, the signs are beginning. Nothing abrupt, nothing obvious, minor deviations, discretely adjusted projections, indicators that are not following expectations, numbers that are starting to demand an explanation. Strange movements. Not enough to alarm the market, but enough to bother those inside. Silent revisions. Documents are being reevaluated, restricted calls, discussions that don't include everyone. The market doesn't react immediately, but the system does. Calls are getting shorter, more direct answers, smaller spaces, and you feel it before it even happens. And then, a name is starting to circulate. Yours. Not as someone directly responsible, but as part of the process. And that's enough, because at that level, no one needs to prove anything. You just need to redirect the blame. You understand quickly. The system doesn't look for real culprits. He is looking for points of adjustment. And individuals are adaptable. The system does not protect individuals. It protects continuity. protects flow, protects the structure, it protects its own existence, and you. It has already fulfilled its purpose. There is no confrontation, there is no announcement, replacement only, gradual, silent, inevitable, and when you realize, the system has started again, without you, as he always did, as he always will. You leave the room, no announcement, no formal closure, with no one saying it's over. The door closes as it always has. Same building, same city, same system. But now, it's different. Not because something changed inside, but because something changed in you. Because now you see. You saw where the decisions really begin. You see how they are shaped, even before they look like decisions. He realized that control was never in the hands of those who execute the plan. And he was never in their shoes. Decisions aren't made where they seem to be. They arrive already prepared and are merely adjusted. To appear legitimate, errors are not corrected, they are diluted, redistributed, absorbed until they disappear within the structure. And responsibility? It never stays in the same place. She moves, it adapts, it is repositioned, until you find someone who can carry it, without disrupting the system. You walk down the same hallway, the same lights, the same controlled silence, the same doors remain closed. Nothing seems different, and that's exactly why. Everything keeps working. The system continues. Negotiations are ongoing. Meetings continue. Billions continue to circulate, as if nothing had happened. Because for the system, nothing really happened. It was just another cycle, another execution, one more adjustment, and someone. He just sat down in the chair you left behind. Correct posture, a watchful eye, trying to understand what's going on around us, without knowing yet what is really happening, without noticing the signs, without recognizing the patterns, without understanding that the decisions he will make, they've been in motion for a long time. Because in this system, no one goes in knowing, and whoever learns, he's already too involved to walk away without consequence. You pause for a moment. Look back. Nothing calls you back. Nothing is certain. Because the system doesn't require you to stay. He just needs someone to take his place. And there will always be someone, more prepared, more willing, or simply more available. Because in this system, you don't go in to understand, you enter to be a part of it. And the moment you truly understand, you've ceased to be essential. But the system never ceases to exist.